Hello guys, and welcome back to another episode of New Horizon. Today we're going to be playing RimWorld. I mentioned in last episode that we tamed a llama. I meant to say alpaca, so basically we started taming the other counterpart for the livestock. In order to make our secure building out of sandstone, we're going to need bricks, but we need a workshop in order for that. Now that we basically built a flammable workshop out of materials that can burn, we can add some expensive materials to make the workshop more productive. In the past, when I played the game, I discovered really early on that you can actually extract trees from the ground when they're in the sapling stage, and then you can actually plant them over in more fertile land, and they'll actually grow a little bit faster than if they were anywhere else in the world. So it's really a nice little tip for people that actually have the game or just want to get wood early on. So apparently Morgan thinks that slapping an animal to show it dominance is, going to help it tame the alpaca. I have no idea why that would make sense, but apparently she's been doing that. We then decided to spend some of our wood on expanding the platform where our farm is. This will give us some bridges, which can then put the fences on, which will open up a little bit more room for our crops. Meanwhile, when we were working on our garden, an elephant decided it was not meant for the wild and self-tamed and joined our colony. After a while, we got our second raid, which had just a single raider from the trash folk, which I think are the toxic faction, and we lined everyone up and sniped them down. When nobody was looking, Tony pulled out her knife and finished the raider off quietly, most likely mumbling something about fire. Tony basically dragged the body over to the pit where his comrade lays from the last raid, and nobody was the wiser of what just happened. So on Tony's way back, Denis was out with his rifle aiming towards Tony, though between Tony and him was the cobra. Pest Control can really bite at times. If the night couldn't get any stranger, while everyone was sleeping, our alpaca team decided it had enough, slapping around and got angry towards the colonists. Come morning, we got the first taste of the jungle heat by having a heat wave event. We rushed to place coolers in people's rooms so they could stay cool. We started to plan ahead with some bedrooms made from sandstone walls, and now that we have basically some stone production going, this will take some time to do though. After we gave the alpaca some time to cool down, we set up the tame task again. I did not know this right away, but Morgan actually tamed it, so we brought it into our base. Morgan is really making herself really useful here, and whizzing through the research like it's child's play. It's actually becoming a little bit annoying that the tasks complete so quickly. We have been really lucky actually with the wildfires. There hasn't been anything that we've needed to really deal with. All the fires that we've had were on the other side of the river. So that's not completely true. There has been a couple fires that we've had to put out because of Tony. She has a trait where she's incapable of firefighting, which means she's kind of an arsonist. And she just can't help herself to basically start a whole bunch of fires and stuff, though we usually have somebody put those out. Well, at least our new building won't burn down because the rooms are actually made of sandstone, so I'm pretty sure those aren't flammable, but it can still be pretty hard to actually keep things under control at times. A couple beggars arrived, though I thought maybe I could go ahead and capture some of them and make them join the settlement. I decided against it and just gave them some coins. So we finally got electricity set up. We got a small generator out and back, and we started installing some electricity lights as well as some cables, and this will help keep the temperature cooler inside the building. We also got our first harvest of hay, though when I planted the grass, I thought we only were going to have a couple alpacas. Now I think we might go through it a little bit quicker because we have that elephant. We started working on 2 more rooms. Most likely these next 2 rooms will be bedrooms, and a little bit bigger than the ones that they're currently in to hopefully give them more space and make them a little bit more happy. So the next thing that we started planning was basically our kitchen area for this new structure. This will allow us to have a walk-in freezer, which will basically freeze items indefinitely so we can use them at a longer period of time and not worry about growing as many crops. Denis will probably be very happy because he is our cook and gardener. After that, we started working on planning our new workshop. We will have tons of rooms for more workstations. There's actually quite a few workstations in this game of different kinds. So another thing that I'm thinking about for the design of this particular structure is where the front door is going to be and where the medical room will be as well. So I'm going to be putting the medical room in that first room that we're started working on. This will give us early access to a place where the injured can be moved quickly into the medical room. So below the kitchen, what I started planning was the dining hall area, where settlers will go basically to eat their food. It's not too far from the freezer, which is just inside the kitchen area, so it will be an easy track to go and eat their meals. So a bulk trader arrived. We sold them a whole bunch of stuff that we didn't need and had in our possession. So after that, what we were able to do was buy a whole bunch of fabric, which we'll eventually need for some of the bedrooms and stuff. One of the things I like about RimWorld is there's multiple events that can happen at the same time. In going medieval, this isn't really the case. You'll have a trader and then there won't be any chance of another event happening. While in RimWorld, there's a chance that two things might happen at the same time. There might be a raid going on while there's a trader, or two traders can arrive at the same time, or other events can happen. So it's really cool to see how the dynamics and stuff can happen with the different events. Denis is really having a hard time. First he got rejected by Morgan, and now Tony basically rejected his proposal, and I honestly feel bad for the dude. Later on, we had our primates get mad at us and try to attack our settlement. That's right, we're going to war with some monkeys. The monkey was taken out of action by Tony, while Faye, our doctor, put the thing out of its misery, most likely uttering something like, "Don't worry, I'm a doctor." Early morning, Tony tried to take on a sleeping rat. She got a little bit bit, but managed to kill it off with her knife. We also experienced a solar eclipse. At the same time, Tony agreed to get married with Denis, so I don't know if this is a bad omen or not. I also added carpet to the bedrooms, adding flammable material to the rooms. What could honestly go wrong? So I might have spoken a little bit too soon. Tony's on her third fire starting spree since we started. As I call over Faye, "Medieval doctor, please put out these flames." Faye? We moved Denis and Tony into a new bedroom with carpet, and I'm hoping that this will actually help bring up both of their moods, making them a little bit more stable and not have so many mental breaks. A few days later, we got an optional quest to take in toxic garbage for some materials, and we decided to delete that quest because we have enough problems at the moment. And by problems, I mean Denis is now experiencing his first mental break, going on a food binge. He's our cook and farmer, so this is not good at all. I had the wise plan of actually feeding everyone in the settlement before he got to all the food. This actually worked for the duration that we had, so we were able to get everyone fed, and everyone didn't complain for being hungry or anything like that. So we started working next on the medical room, because in the jungle, diseases actually spread a lot more commonly than other biomes and stuff like that. So having a medical room where people can recover and stuff is actually really important early on with being in a jungle. We also had a random event happen where a bunch of steel fell from the sky. This is kind of like a little meteor shower or something like that. This will be actually really handy for later, though I think we have quite a bit of it near our house as well. And that's basically where I decided to leave it for the day. We had a self-taming elephant. Tony is one of the most crazy individuals, setting fires around the place and murdering bandits. Denis was rejected twice, then finally decided to get married, and causing him to go on a food binge. Morgan is going through research like crazy. And Faye, well, Faye is Faye. Builder, doctor, firefighter. Honestly, I wonder what the next episode will bring us in this crazy colony. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell icon to stay notified when I come out with another video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.